Hello YouTube, my name is Jack. Welcome back to Binary Wargaming and another list review. If this is the first time you've been here on a Thursday morning, this morning we do List Review Thursdays, where I take your lists from our Discord and then I review them live on the interwebs for everyone to see. If you are new here, then we normally do 3 streams a week, every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. We have a Patreon, firstly in the description down below. And if you would like to go check it out for yourself, if you are a Tier 3 member or higher, you can put your list into our Discord, and then I will review those lists weekly. So today we are reviewing the list for all of those patrons. I will say we have just started doing this, that means that everyone's still jumping onto the bandwagon. So we have a lot of lists from the same person today. Thank you, Nick. But that's okay. We'll eventually grow. And we've just started doing this full time. So if you're interested, if you are not a member as well on YouTube, then you won't have seen the brand new video that has just gone live for members. It's coming out on Saturday, where I talk about last week's tournament and how I went to a teams event and we ended up winning the teams event. So if you want to get any coaching, we also offer coaching on our Patreon as well, and we have commission painting services as well. So hello here to chat. Good to see you all this morning. I will say this morning, yes, good. I got the chat working as well. See on the side there? Look at me go. But yeah. So this morning will be a little bit of a shorter stream. Last time I think we went for about an hour and 20. I think today 50 minutes is the cap. I can't go any more than 50 minutes. Your boy has to go get a haircut. So good to see you all here this morning. Wakey, anything to help out. Thank you, Nick. You're the best. Hi there. Nightly greetings. Good to see you. Love the video today. Awesome. Very, very good. Hello, esteemed hams. Good to see you. Hello. Mohas, good to see you. How are the Ultramarines? What Ultramarines? Which Ultramarines are you talking about? Yeah. So very, very good. Okay, so without any further ado, I'm certain that you guys will ask me questions along the way. So if you have any questions while I do the list reviews, please do not hesitate to ask. I'm all ears, especially early days as we ramp up these list reviews and I start posting more videos and people jump onto putting in their lists as well. I'm certain that it will be a bit more of a rushed concept because I want to keep these to about an hour long each. But yeah, today we only have a few lists to go through. So if you have questions, go. Please ask. Heyo, Midnight here in UK, just painting some Quins. Good to see you. Quinn, painting Quins. Nice. That's very on brand. Okay. Only time I seem to focus and make progress. Yeah, there you go. Okay, great. Yeah, well, painting in the evening, probably, more relaxing, less stuff going on. You can focus more. Makes sense. That's when Adela does all of her commission painting as well in the evening. So there you go. All right, so Nick has submitted the lists for today. Again, if you want a list submitted as well, even if you're doing it now live, if you go to Patreon, you decide you want to submit a list and you sign up, you can go there right now. The Discord is first link in the description, or second link, which is entirely free to join as well. And you can go down there. And if you're tier 3 or higher, you can post your link in there. Just let me know in chat and I will copy paste it straight onto the stream. Okay, so today we're looking at demons. Now, I met with Nick yesterday to discuss some demon lists, but we'll see what he's cooked up for me today because I can already see this is going to be an interesting one. This is the second time that we are doing these streams for list review as well. So please give me some feedback on how I do my list reviews. If I am skewing the lists towards my own playstyle too much or not giving the right feedback, let me know. I'd like to improve so that I can give the best feedback possible. 7 p.m. here on the East Coast and I'm doing college work. Ooh, Okay, I'd rather be painting. Yeah, enjoy, Curse Cowboy. Nice. Okay, so demons. More demon stuff. Right up my alley. So, Nick, you have taken Epidemius and Slimix as your only characters. Interesting. Okay. Three sets of blue horrors. Yeah. 3 sets of 3 Nurglings. 2 sets of pink horrors. A Beast of Nurgle. 1, 2, 3 units of 3 Flamers. And 2 units of Flesh Hounds. 3 units of Screamers. And 3 Skull Cannons. Okay. Alright. That's a lot of MSU. Look, when I was building my lists lately, I voted for more MSU because I think MSU is a good way to play the game. At the moment, it's good for scoring points and doing actions and screening your opponent. But this is probably too much MSU. I don't think you're going to be killing anything. It looks fun. I actually had Seb, a guy who normally comes onto the channel as well, member of the community here in Sydney. He reached out to me semi-recently, and he said, Jack, what do you say about a list with 54 Nurglings, because that's legal, and 60 blue horrors, because that's also legal, and then you just infiltrate them all, and you literally just make a parking lot of Nurglings, and then behind that you have a parking lot of blue horrors that people have to shoot, and they get all your points because they actually have OC, and then you just screen the entire table. So literally nothing can land anywhere. You fill up the back of your board with like Plague Bearers or something, or Demonettes, even cheaper. And you just spread everything out, like Flesh Hounds, 70 points, screen the whole back table. And you basically just sit there in your deployment zone. You don't kill anything, but you just deploy your army once, and then your enemy just rolls dice, and you just take invulns the whole game. I mean, yeah. You could do that. I don't think it's going to be particularly amazing. I think it'd be quite boring. But yeah, it's good fun. I really like the inclusion of Slimix because he's a really cool character, but he's just so expensive. I wish that Slimix was maybe like, I don't know, 80 points, same as Epidemius, because he just doesn't do very much at the moment. Even like 90 points, I think he'd be okay. I think 1 unit of Blue Horrors is great, unless you're going to go full in on this concept of doing infiltrate. It seems you have gone half and half. You've got 30 blue horrors and then 9 Nurglings. Why not 54 Nurglings? The pink horrors are cool. Honestly, I think if you're going to do pink horrors, just take out Slimix and put in like Flux Masters instead, so you can have just -1 to hit pink horrors in the back line. You just sit them in the back, and they're always -1 to hit, and they're super annoying. That would be really funny. Nick, I feel like you wanted to flood the board with pink, but you could only pay 3 each, so you went with blues too. No, you can go 6 each. You could definitely go 6 each. Their battle line sounds really boring to play, to be fair. Yeah, I'd honestly like to see how this list will play. Okay, well, a unit of Nurglings for 9 Nurglings is only 105 points. So if you have 6 units, that's 630 points. And then you add in the 6 units of Blue Horrors, that's 750 points for Blue Horrors. So you have 1,380 points of units there, and then you add in like 3 units of 5 Flesh Hounds just for screen. That's another 210. You add in maybe a unit of Plague Bearer, so some sticky. That's 1,700 points, and then you add in a Great and Clean one with Relic for another 260 points, and you've got 40 points left over. Maybe you take out like the Plague Bearers, and instead you run 2 units of Screamers or 2 units of Flamers. That's bang on 2,000. A Great and Clean one with Relic, and you take, I don't know, like just Feel No Pain, Big Sword, sit in the middle. He gives Feel No Pain to all of your Nurglings. 54 Nurglings, 2 units of like Screamers and or Flamers, they're the same price. 3 units of Flesh Hounds, and then you're done. Just everything infiltrates. You have 60 Blue Horrors that infiltrate and 54 Nurglings that infiltrate, and you just sit them in the midboard. That's the concept. Would it work? Probably not. It would probably be miserable to both play and play against. Nice. I'd honestly like to see how this list will play. Flux for sure. Oh, yeah, true. Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Hey there, Steiner. Good to see you. We meet again. I mean, a pain to kill as well. Your opponent would need 3 rounds for that alone. Well, it depends on how much, anti-horde they have. It would be a very interesting teams tournament list because you pair them into something like, I don't know, something that has lots of lots of single damage shots, like, I don't know, Eldar, and they just try and shoot you with Bright Lances the whole game. And it's like, okay, well, your Bright Lance hit and wounded, now you kill a Nurgling. Okay. But their leadership's 7, and, if they heal in Battle Shock and in Shadow, which they're all going to be in Shadow because they're all in midboard, which you can't get to, then, I don't know, just heal D3 Nurgling bases back. They just sit there and continually heal. And also, if you don't one-shot all the blue horrors, then they split and then they heal as well. Oh, it sounds like a right pain in the bum to play and play against. I'm in love with the idea of running 6x10 pink horrors. Probably absolutely useless, but the split is so fun. It would be very chaotic. Yeah, well, the split is really fun, but if your opponent has a way to one-shot your unit, then it's not so fun. So, for example, if you're versing, Necrons, and they have 10 Immortals with Tesla, you just lose the unit pink horrors for free straight away because they don't split if they die in one shot. If they have 10 breaches, still dead. If they grenade you, you don't split. If they tank shock you, you don't split. If they fly over you with mortal wounds, they don't split. It's not that great. Typhus's mortal wound ability, they don't split. Grey Knight Librarian, they don't split because nothing's a psychic. It's not an attack. Even the mortal wound bomb from T-Suns, they don't split. So it's not great. Oh, you've also got 2 Beasts of Nurgle in here. I think I skipped over those totally. That's a lot of just random small little units. I think it would be a really good fun time against armies like GSC, Nick, because they can't kill you. And you just kind of spread out and just have fun with it. But against anything with damage, you're going to have a miserable time. You can't kill anything, and then you just die. But anyway, let's move on. Okay, so Death Guard. What want to do, Death Guard? Okay, so finally, some lists that are not demons. This will be interesting. So I need to look some of these up as well. And also, not only did I get the chat working today, but I also have a whiteboard. So in case we want to do some drawing here, I can show you how to position your units, etc., etc. So let's have a look at Death Guard. Thankfully, they don't have a codex yet, so I don't need to worry about this too much. I know that their rule is -1 toughness within their contagion range, and you can pick either -1 OC, -1 to hit, or -1 to your weapon skill and ballistic skill, or -1 to the enemy's armor save within range of them. So yeah, let's take a look. So the Putrefier, what does the Putrefier do? Where am I going here? Putrefier? Biologist Putrefier. What does he do these days? He's got Shamble Rot as well. That's interesting. So Shamble Rot is... What does Shamble Rot do? Each time the bearer's unit selected as target enemy is charged, they're -2. Okay. And this guy is the guy that gives the lethal hits for all weapons, which kind of they already have, and then crit hits on 5s. Yeah, it's not so bad. This stacks really well with their stratagem. They have a stratagem for sustained in melee. In the fight phase, they can get sustained 1. You can have sustained 2 if you're holding a marker that you have. So you can have sustained 2 and lethals on 5s with a Putrefier. It's interesting. And then they make, you giving him the relic for -2 to get charged. It's not so bad, so you can kind of dictate when you fight people on your own terms. And you get a grenade strat for free. And he's the guy with, the decent grenade pack. It's not so bad. Okay, so I assume you have him with Marines. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 units of 5 Marines and a Rhino. Yep, so I assume that you have 2 units of your Marines in a Rhino and then 2 units of Marines on the board. 1 will probably go into reserve. You have 1 Putrefier. I don't think a Putrefier is particularly worth it for 85 points. How expensive is the relic, does it say? 25 points? I don't think that's worth it. 25 points is way too expensive. And a Putrefier for 60 points for a unit of 5, I don't think it's particularly worth. If I'm going to take a Putrefier, I'm going to put him in 10-mans. So maybe like join one of the units of Marines as a 10-man, and maybe put the Putrefier with them in the Rhino. Lord of Contagion with Deadly Pathogen. That's the extra fighty. No, that's... yeah, it is. So add 1 to strength and attacks. And then if you're within range of your own marker, you add 2. Do you have any Terminators for him to go with? You have a single unit of 5 Blight Lords. And that's it. Okay. So if you're doing a single unit of 5 Blight Lords, it also looks like you have a Lord of Virulence, and you have a Lord of Contagion, and you also have Typhus. So Typhus can join Poxwalkers, which I see that you have 2 units of 10. Yeah, so you got a whole bunch of different ideas here that you'd probably want to consolidate into a few, like put them all into like one idea. Poxwalkers, if you're going to put them with Typhus, you got to make them a 20-man, I think. It's not really worth having a 10-man with them, because then they just get 1 shot, and also they lower the toughness of Typhus so that he's more susceptible to weight of dice. Like, for example, if breaches shoot you, Typhus is going to be taking damage a bit more easily from the spillover. So I'd take a unit of 20. If you're going to separate your Poxwalkers, then take them for action monkeys and for screens, and don't put Typhus with them. But then Typhus either needs to be alone, just deep striking and doing actions and stuff, which you could do in this list, or with a unit of Terminators. Personally, I think he's better with the Terminators. And in this list, I'd be putting Typhus with the Blight Lords. The Lord of Virulence, you absolutely want to put him always with Death Shroud. In my opinion, because the Lord of Virulence gives reroll wound rolls to his shooting weapons, and because they automatically hit, and the 6 Death Shroud have 7 of those flamers, you basically deep strike the Lord of Virulence. He gives a +1 to hit buff to blast weapons, so things like the mortars, +1 to hit and ignores cover for the mortars on your plague bursts, and then he'll just sit there and reroll all wound rolls with flamers for his unit, which is really good. So I would take some Death Shroud if you're going to take a Lord of Virulence. Lords of Contagion, taking them on their own, great meme. For 95 points, he's super punchy, he's really hard to get rid of, and he's a really small base that can deep strike into the enemy's lines and be super annoying. So I really rate this character on his own. I think that's a great idea. Mortarians and auto-include. Tallyman, I assume, is going to sit on your home field objective to give you CP. For 45 points, why would you not? He's so good. And then you have, other than that, you just have you have 2 units of spawn of 2. I don't know if I particularly rate the spawn. I think they're better in World Eaters than they are in Death Guard. I don't think in Death Guard they're actually too great. They're kind of eh. I'd probably take some other stuff for 70 points, because Death Guard units are really cheap. I mean, to spawn, for an extra 20 points, you get a photoed bloat drone. So why don't you just take the spawn out, take the relic out from the Putrefier, which is 25 points, and you give yourself another drone. Drones are so much more worth. And then a unit of 2 haulers and a single crawler. I mean, it's a good, well-rounded list. I think it would be good for having like a good bit of fun with your mates. And it has a lot of characters. It has a lot of flavor. Very good flavor list. But if you're going to make it competitive, I'd probably take out the Putrefier altogether. And for points reasons, I would take out the Lord of Contagion. I would take out maybe a unit of Plague Marines. And then... or 2 units of Plague Marines, and just have 2 units inside the Rhino. Take out the Terminators and replace them with Death Shroud, and then you can use the spawn for actions and things like that. And if you have any extra points, maybe upgrade some of these to bloat drones. I think having at least 2 crawlers is probably a better idea as well. And only 1 unit of Poxwalkers if you're going to use them for actions, because you can just bring them on from reserve and then just do an action with them there. I think it's probably the best thing that you can do with that. Nice. Hey, Aaron, good to see you. Enhancements are all wrong on the Death Guard list. I already know that. Sorry, Nick. Yes, yep. Just run 3 Putrefier as second leader in a 10-man Marines unit, and he is worth it. Is the Putrefier essentially a Biologist? Ooh, Death Guard looks good. Yo, good to see you, Muzz. Good to see you. What's up? How's it going? Good to see you, JMTH. Hello. Yeah, so the Putrefier is the one that gives the crits. The one that everyone takes is the Foul Blight Spawn, because he gives the really good Flamer. D6 shots 7 -2/2, anti-infantry 2 up, ignores cover, torrent. And when you pair that with -1 toughness for units, so making Marines toughness 2, and then you're reducing their armor save as well, for example, you win in Marines on 2s, you're auto hitting in your AP 3, and they ignore cover, and they also can't Armor of Contempt if your unit is near Mortarion, because your unit then ignores modifiers, which is disgusting. So yeah, Fights First is a really good ability, paired with this insane Flamer for a unit that is, where does it say the points? I always forget where the points are on this page. Does it say? Am I crazy, chat? I think it says it here somewhere, and I'm just blind. I think they're only like 50, 60 points, 65, something like that. But yeah, that is a scary Overwatch weapon. It's gross. It's only D6, but I mean, it's pretty good. And when you pair this, I mean, Death Guard just have a lot of Overwatch in general, because the Flamers on the drones are anti-infantry 2 up, I believe, and then the Flamers on Plague Burst Crawlers, the Plague Spitters, are anti-infantry 2 up, and then you've got a unit like the 6 Death Shroud with the Lord of Virulence, and they have 7 D6 flames plus the leader, who's I think his is a 2 damage flamer on the Lord of Virulence, and he's got an extra D6 as well at a higher strength 5. No, he's just 1 damage, but anti-infantry 2 up, twin linked as well, so he still gets it even if his unit is killed. So 8 D6 flames, D6 of them are going to be at -1. And you're going to be -1 toughness when you get overwatched, probably. You're going to be -1 to your save as well. Gross. 60 points. Thank you. Unit comp in red. Where? Here. Yes, I am blind. Thank you. 60 points. Still at -2. 2 is terrifying. JMTH beat me to it. You guys are the best. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, so I think that's probably what I would do. I'm not going to rebuild the whole list. I will leave that to you, Nick. But yeah, I think honestly, these days, Mortarion, I would love to see Mortarion, and I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think Death Guard are a really powerful spot. And personally, I think that if other armies get nerfed, and these guys lost their ability for -1 to hit, like -1 ballistic skill, weapon skill, and the -1 to your save, -1. That ability, the one that they got from the updates of Data Slate, if they lost that, and they also lost Mortarion's ability, where he just ignores modifiers, I think that they would be in a perfect spot. I think that they are just the right points cost. Their units are really good. They're not super maneuverable, but they have play. They do tons of damage. There's strategy within strategy in this book as well, with making objectives, contagion, things like that. I think that it's fine. It's a really good codex. I just think that they need to lose the ability to ignore modifiers, and they need to lose their extra detachment ability, because it's just too strong. I'm sick of seeing Mortarion and Magnus and Angron. All 3 of them are just like auto includes in those armies, which you kind of expect them to be because they're the Demon Primarchs, but it's just a little boring. For 325 points, he's like T12, 16 wounds or whatever, 18 wounds, 2 up, 4 up, 5 up. He can be -1 damage and melee for 2 CP. He ignores all modifiers. He can't be battle shocked in terms of his OC. He just ignores it. He's never -1 to hit. So he's just shooting out of combat on 2s. It's gross. Great advice. Thanks, Silver Fox. You're the best. It's fine. Spend some time gaming with friends today. Now preparing a bit for a game on Friday. Death Guard, me, versus Necrons. Sadly, no game on Saturday for me as we are 5 guys and I'm solo. Can't you like team up? Team up, like verse the winner or something. Have those two play, make some lunch, and then you verse one of the winners or something like that. I'm sure that you guys can race through a game, put one of them on a chess clock, and then have another game after that. What about you? Are we being, I can't say that word, about Mortarion when we have T12, 20 wound big demons for 240 points? Actually, they're 230 points. And they're 230 points, and one of them is 22 wounds. Yeah. Well, the difference here is they both have 4-up Invon, but Mortarion has a 2-up armor. He also ignores every modifier. He moves further. He has melee. He has decent shooting. He makes your whole army ignore modifiers. He has a -1 damage stratagem. He has dev wounds in his kit. He has the grenade keyword for some ungodly reason. I think for an extra, 95 points? Very worth it. They're both good units, but he's very worth it. And even better, I think he's 18 wounds, isn't he? Which is the best amount of wounds that you can have in the game at the moment, because nothing has 19 wounds. Okay, so 16 wounds. It's not so bad. 16 wounds is an unfortunate number. You really want to have either 14 wounds so you can escape the giving up 4 points for bring it down, or you want 18 wounds. I mean, preferably the best one to have would be 19 wounds, because that's just an odd number, which is the worst. It takes people ages to get rid of with 2 damage weaponry or 4 damage weaponry and 3 damage weaponry, because 19 is not a multiple of 3, so that would be perfect as well. And you wouldn't give up your kills for having 20 wounds. You'd only give up 4 points to bring it down. So yeah, for 325 points, he's a steal. Death Guard are in a tough spot. Awesome against infantry close up, but really struggle against anything outside 12. Yeah, but I think that's just because some people haven't worked out how to play into shooting armies, Like, if you're versing Tau, for example, they're really fast. They outrange you. And basically, you just get shot to death. But in those matchups, you just really want to play for objectives and sit on the points. And that's the same with a lot of armies. Like, most armies going into knights, you're not going to outkill knights. You're going to outscore knights, and that's just the how it goes. At the end of the day, you just have to score. You don't kill. You just score. So just sit on objectives, hold the line, and then try and shoot back where you can. That's what Death Guard are good at, and I think that they are pretty good at doing that. I'm thankful my main opponent hates named characters. I don't need to play versus Mortarion or Magnus. That's crazy. Magnus, and I would say if I had to pick a unit, the most auto-include unit in the entire game, the most overpowered unit, it's definitely Morvenval. And then after that, it's probably Magnus. And then after that, it's probably the Triumph of St. Catherine. I think that those 3 at the moment. And then definitely Morty is near the top, for sure. Typhus is near the top, for sure. Both of those characters are disgusting. I mean, when I went to play on at the beginning of the year, I killed Tycho's army. Like, I killed 1,800 points of his army or something like that. Like, pretty much. No, I killed every unit except a unit of Terminators that did nothing to me, Mortarion, and Typhus. And he killed 1,800 points of my army with just Mortarion and Typhus. That's less than 4. That's like 405 points. 400 points of his army killed 1,800 points of my army. I think Morty and Typhus could have some nerfs. Actually, maybe I'm getting myself some Mortarion. He sounds good. Yeah. What I don't get is maybe just a preference thing, but why do so many casual players don't use allied units as much as they should, even with Death Guard? I've got a friend that never uses brigands or demons. I don't understand. Well, with Death Guard, you don't really need to, because the only units you can ally are Nurgle demon units or knights. Knights often give you things like shooting, where you don't have any, or they give you OC, where you don't have any, and Death Guard already are basically just a sit on objectives army. They have plenty of OC, they have plenty of fight first units and things like that. They just want to sit. They want you to come to them, they fight you, and they win. That's the whole point of Death Guard. So you don't need the OC from Knights. You don't really need the shooting from Knights either, because they've got Plague Burst, they've got Predators, which are quite cheap and have decent guns. They've got the Blight Haulers, which have Melters and things like that. And better yet, these units are cheap, and they give off the aura. So they give off the aura of -1 to hit, or -1 to your save, or -1 to your and -1 to your toughness. And even better, they stack with Mortarion so that they all ignore modifiers. Knights don't do that. Knights don't give off the aura, and they also don't get the benefits from Mortarion. Pretty dang sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. Which means that you're not making as much use of Mortarion's ability and of your detachment ability if you're playing Knights. Plus, when it comes to running demons, what demons do you run? You have to run at least one unit of Nurglings or Plague Bearers. Nurglings are OC0, so they give you the ability to do something like behind enemy lines, area denial, things like that. Sure, but you're going to get area denial anyway. Your drones are really fast and they can just sit in the middle. You're going to get engage. That's going to happen. You're going to get behind enemy lines with something like, I don't know, a lot of contagion. He's a really small base, and he's a much better unit. He gives off all the auras, he stacks with Mortarion, he's 2-up armor, 4-up Invon, T6, 6 wounds for like an 80-point character with 3 damage flat melee. Yeah, why would you take Nurglings? They just don't do anything for you. And Plague Bearers, their ability is to sticky an objective, and Death Guard sticky objectives with every single unit by default, so you don't even need Plague Bearers. And then if you take like a Great and Clean one, you're just taking another unit that is slow, that has some damage, but not really any damage, really, and that they don't stack. So for 230 points, you could be getting, I don't know, like a unit, 2 units of Marines, 3 Rhinos. You could have a unit of Death Shroud, and like a Tallyman on top. It's just not that great. Yeah. Oh, he agrees, but he hates name characters. If I play Gaz, he rolls his eyes. Fair enough, yeah. But they're cool. Name characters are a cool part of the game. I get what you're saying. Tournament players do seem to disagree with you on the allied units. At least every list I see is either Rodigus or 3 War Dogs. Can hardly see one without, so there has to be some reason for that. What War Dogs are they running, though? Are they running things like Carnivores? Because a lot of people like to do Carnivores because they're fast, and then rapid ingress a Carnivore behind a wall, and then they basically have a threat that can run forward, tank shock, and then melee something. So I can see the purpose in that, maybe like running 1 or 2. And then people take Rodigus because he halves the OC of models nearby. He has a really good flamer. But that's about it. For 230 points, I don't personally think it's worth it. I'd rather take a unit of Death Shroud. But what do I know? I'm not a full-time Death Guard player. I'm a Demons player. But yeah, when it comes to demons, I would not be including them in a Death Guard list. I just don't think that they're that necessary. So if anything, I'd be including like a Soul Grinder, because it gives you more indirect, and it gives you a decent tank shock unit, and it has a ton of melee for like 190 points. So it'd be a quite good unit to include. Another like vehicle style unit, so you can have Plague Burst, you can have Soul Grinders and things like that. Some Carnivores, what I see is more 3 Brigands. Brigands are too expensive. They're like 170 points. They get +1 AP against their enemy target. You can stack that with drones to reduce the enemy's save, I guess, and then just shoot people away with all of your individual little bullets. I can see it, but I just feel like you have enough shooting anyway. But I don't know. Maybe people like the mobility on their guns. I think it's more you get more like you can fix your own mistakes more. If your army's really slow and you put yourself in the wrong spot, then you just screw yourself over. Whereas when you have the mobility, then you can fix all your mistakes. All right, let's go. We have a couple minutes left. So going on to this demon list real quick. Be'lakor. Nick, how could you betray me like this? I hate Be'lakor. Everyone knows that. Nice. We'll see how we go. Bloodthirster, Shalaxi, the Changeling. Interesting. A single unit of Bloodletters. Interesting. Nurglings, Pink Horrors, Plague Bearers, Flamers. Fleshhounds, and a Skull Cannon. Okay. So, I hate this unit, and I hate this unit. This unit, Be'lakor, you only want to include in your army if you have 6 Greater Demons. That's the only reason, so that you can chain your Greater Demon Deep Strike to Be'lakor. I can see why you would want to do that. Sure, that's fine. But in this list, when you're only running 3 Greater Demons, don't think it's particularly worth it. I see a lot of people running the Bloodthirster with Argath. Personally, I think this is a really horrible choice. Argath is totally unnecessary for the extra points on a Bloodthirster. He kills basically whatever he hits anyway. You just don't need that much damage. It's a waste of points. You can fit something else in. And a Bloodthirster, I just don't think is that good until we get a new detachment to run him in. Personally, Scarbrand is better. For 305 points, I'd be running Scarbrand. But if you don't want to synergize with the rest of your army, you just kind of want a unit to go smash stuff like Shalaxi, I can see why people run a Bloodthirster. Shalaxi is still 100 points too expensive, but I mean, I really want to run Shalaxi because I think it's a really cool model, and I have not run Shalaxi like once in 10th edition, but my god, still 100 points overcosted. So ludicrously overcosted, it's not even funny. Yeah. But you have to put the Soul Grinders on 160mm bases. That's true. I guess it depends on how your tournament views Soul Grinders. Yeah, I don't know. I put mine on 130s. Suck it, GW. What are you going to do about it? I love Shalaxi, but everyone targets her, and she's so expensive for a model you will essentially be trading. Yeah, this is why I stopped taking the Great and Clean one, because people just kill the Great and Clean one, and Shalaxi is even easier to kill than the Great and Clean one. So I just don't think that Shalaxi is that worth it. I like the Relic on the Thirster as a point filler only, but I plan on running Scarbrand and Bloodthirster at the same time. Yeah, so yeah, I just don't... Argath is kind of it's fine. The Changeling is an interesting unit to run kind of solo. I would run the Changeling in a Monster Mash list just so that he can jump around and be annoying. He's even better with Kairos next to him because Kairos can make enemy units not want to grenade the Changeling, for example. Just increase the CP cost nearby, which is just awesome. So I think that, yeah, those two together are great. Bloodletters, you don't really need them unless you're going to be running a Renmaster and Skull Taker. I would replace these with another Chaff unit so that you can just get more screen on the board. Too expensive and too weak for 120 points. Nurglings are essential. Pink Horrors, sure, replace these with a Flux Master for your Pink Horrors. Our Plague Bearers are good. Flamers are really good units for Chaff, Screen. Fleshhounds are good units for Chaff and Screen, same as the Skull Cannon. I like the rest. The rest is great. I think it's really cool. But this unit, my god, I just can't get past the fact that Be'lakor is still 325 points. Honestly, ridiculous. This needs to be 250 points. If this was 250, I would include Be'lakor. If this was 300, I would include Shalaxi. 150 points too expensive. I honestly think that Shalaxi needs to have her ability changed for the... just remove the ability that says full rerolls to hit, wound, and damage against units. Remove that. Replace it with every Slaanesh unit within 6 gets +1 damage. Now we're talking. And then make her 300 points. Now we're talking. Okay, so we have 10 minutes. That's perfect. Let's go through this Nuns with Guns list. This is the last one. So we'll see how we go. Nuns with Guns. And we'll see what happens here. I don't know a whole lot about sisters, so I am very keen to learn because it's going to help me at tournaments. In particular, this tournament up and coming over the weekend. Where am I going here? Imperium, Sororitas. Yeah, because I have a full GT this weekend with like 50 players, and there is quite a few sisters players. So let's see. Bringers of Flame. That's the detachment everyone's running. I know that Bringers of Flame is the fire detachment with the Mortal Wound ability, the Mortal Wound stratagem. Army of Faith is the one where you get to use 2 dice per unit per phase for your miracle dice. I don't know what Penitent, Host, and Hallowed Martyrs do, so interesting, but chat will let me know. Acts of Faith. Okay, so in this one, ranged weapons get Assault and add 1 to Strength. So it's like the Far Sight detachment, or whatever it's called. Very good. Hi, Patricia. Good to see you. How many points are you working on? Well, all of these lists are 2,000. I will disagree with Jack on Scarbrand. I like the movement on the Bloodthirster, but Argath I would add if I had the points. Yeah. Scarbrand is not used for killing. He's used for buffing units. You put him behind a wall, and then you just buff your Bloodletters, and then everyone doesn't want to go to the middle because Scarbrand sits there and goes, do it. Come around the wall, I dare you. I agree with you, Steiner. Nice. Very good, guys. Okay, cool. So let's see. Canoness with jump pack with the manual. She's got a big book. Manual of Saint Griselda. Is this the... At the start of the command phase, you can discard up to 2 miracle dice and then add a miracle dice to your pool. People don't take this one on the jump pack lady, right? They take this one, Fire and Fury. While leading a unit, add 1 to the attacks of torrent weapons. I assume that's the one that you meant to put on, right? Because normally people take the Canoness with jump pack, and then they take a unit of 10. I'm assuming they're in here. 10... I see, yeah, 10 Seraphim, right? No, there's only 4. You take 10 Seraphim, and you have 4 of them with Flamers, and then you take the jump pack lady, and you give her that relic for extra jumpiness, and then you pay for the stratagem to give devastating wounds. Where is that one? This one. You do this one for 1 CP, and you just dev wound the heck out of people with all your flames. From what I've heard, Seraphim are really terrible. So people are basically taking a unit of 10 Seraphim with the flames, and then they take 2 units of 5 Seraphim because they basically move, shoot, move, and they're great for actions and landing and doing stuff like that. So I don't really know, why do people take Zephyrim? What does Zephyrim do? I know Seraphim have the move, shoot, move. Zephyrim have each time you fight, you have lethals or sustained, or you can discard a miracle for both. I think that potentially Seraphim are better. This unit is an auto-include. This unit at 210 points now. I thought there were 200. This unit is fine. I think that this unit is fine for 210 points. They're expensive, but I think that they're fine. This unit, let's just change that to what it should be. Yeah, that's more like it. So you're a bit overcosted here. You're a little bit over the cost now, but that's okay. We can take some other stuff out of the army, but this is normal. This should be what it is normally. Dogmata, Hospitalia, a Magifier, a Palatine with the Iron Surplus of Saint Estella. What does that do? Canoness or Palatine, the bearer has a save characteristic with 2+ and a 5 up feel no pain. Whoa. On a Palatine? Do you need that on a Palatine? Aren't there like 1 wound? They're like 3 wounds at T3, aren't they? They're 4 wounds at T3. Yeah, I don't know if you really need that relic. How expensive is that? Oh, okay, it's 5 points. Yeah, take it. 100%. Take it. 5 points? Yep, auto-include. This relic, auto-include. 5 points? I'm in. I'll take anything for 5 points. 100%. That's great. I don't think I've seen a relic that's 5 points. That's amazing. Triumphs of St. Catherine. Yeah. 10 Battle Sisters. Yeah. Immolator. Okay. Rhino. Yeah. Castigator. 2 Castigators. Interesting. 10 Dominions. I assume they're going to split. 1 Exorcist. Okay. So personally, I don't know sisters that well, and I don't have time to go through everything. But personally, I think the Seraphim are the only unit that I can see that won't potentially do anything. I like Castigators. I think they're really good. I see people running 2. I don't think Exorcists are particularly worth it at 190 unless you're spamming them, like 3 Exorcists, so you can just mass indirect people. I think that you might want to take that out and then run more Immolators, because Immolators are really good. They have fire support, if I'm not mistaken, Immolators. And I'm pretty sure, because they're dedicated transport, they get the scout moves as well. Their ability is Purge and Cleanse. Oh, you just ignore cover. Okay. Yeah, so... yeah, I think Immolators are just really good. I would run more Immolators. And potentially you don't need this many characters. I think the only reason to take this many characters as well is if you have a big unit of... What are those ladies called with the big axes? Or shields? Oh yeah, you also need 3 units of 3 Arco-Flagellants. They're just auto-include. They're so good. If it was me, I'd be doing 3 units of 3 of them, Morven Val, the Triumph, her unit of Warsuits, like 2 Castigators, 2 Immolators. And then a big unit of 10 Seraphim with the Flames and the Jumpy Lady. What are they called? Sacrosancts. Yeah, Sacrosancts. And probably Junith as well, with Sacrosancts. I'd do Junith with 5 Sacrosancts. I think would be a good thing to sit in your backfield. And then you split your units, or like have a unit of 10 Dominions and have a unit of 10 Sisters, and you split them between your Immolators and your Rhinos. I think that'd be a really good idea. Penitent Host is the model buff, but no one brings them. Zephyrim, a melee version of Seraphim, I know that. Yeah, in Bringers, you want Seraphim. Leave Brittany alone. What, this one? This is this? Oh, do you mean Brittany as in like a single little lady? Like, what, this Palatine with the Iron Surplus of Istalala? Yeah, that would be fun. I would put Fire and Fury on it. Righteous Rage, Canoness with Jump, Dominions come in 10, and they're a better version of Battle Line, but they don't have Sticky. You need at least 1 unit of Sisters, because you have to have Battle Line in your army. If you don't have Battle Line, it's terrible for you. They strip cover for the Castigators. Yeah, exactly. Martyrs is +1 to hit below starting strength and +1 to win below half. Nice. I guess it's a different playstyle as you go more for kills than buffs for like Blood Crushers. Yeah, on the whole Bloodthirster thing. If you're going to do Bloodthirsters, it's more of a playstyle of just killing stuff. Personally, I really like having my army as a toolbox and using all the different stratagems and relics and things like that, and the auras. I like using them together so that they can modify stuff. Like if it was me, in my demon list, I have Blue Horrors, a Poxbringer, and I also have the Shadow, and then I shoot someone with a Skull Cannon at -3 to their Battle Shock test. They fail, I keep them stuck in melee, and then I have Scarbrand nearby as well, and a unit of Fiends, so that if you want to fall back in your opponent in your turn, you got to take another Battle Shock at like -2. If you've passed that, you got to take a Leadership test, to fall back from Scarbrand, or nearby Scarbrand, and when you're within range of Blue Horrors, your leadership is lower, so you got to take it at -1, even though it's a leadership, not a battle shock, and then if you pass that and you're battle shocked, you have to roll 1s, 2s, and 3s for Desperate Breakout, because I have Fiends nearby. So they all stack together, right? It's a toolbox of stacking buffs together. But you really got to know how to use it. Whereas this is the more like Unga Bunga. You know, like I don't really know what I'm doing when I play demons and I just want to run stuff like big monsters and kill stuff. This is Be'lakor, Double Bloodthirster, Shalaxi, Great and Clean One, Kairos. That's just like, I just want to throw stuff on the table and Unga Bunga my way to a victory. If you bring Val, you are bringing Warsuits, and that's a 370-point unit. No, it's not. Not at all. Look, she's 300. It's a 510-point unit, as it should be. 510 points. It says it right here. GW, I don't know why your thing is wrong. You're going to have to update your app. says 300 points right here, and I don't make mistakes. I've never made a mistake in my life. So anyway, it's 2 a.m. here. I will head to bed. I'll be back probably at the next live match. To be fair, I don't know when that is. It's tonight, and I'm also leaving right now as well. Your boy has to go get a haircut, but thank you everyone for being here today. And yes, and thank you for Nixa for submitting lists. We are doing a game tonight. It's going to be Chaos Knights versus Votan. We have another Votan game. So everyone join in for that. And if you want to go get some rewards and things on Patreon, go check out the Patreon. We offer coaching services, list reviews, TTS events that are going to be starting in October. Your boy has the sniffles now. But yeah, we have a whole bunch of stuff on our Patreon. So if you want to be looking at these lists and things like that, then definitely go check out the Patreon, become a member on YouTube as well. If you haven't already seen it, I did a video that's now out for members. It will be out on Saturday morning for when I'm at the tournament on the weekend. So wish me luck for that. But yeah, it's a tournament in review video where I speak about the tournament last weekend, which was a ton of fun. So thank you everyone for joining me here today. I shall see you all tonight. And thank you for the lists. Adios. Thanks, Jack, for the time. No worries at all. €5 to go bald. I am not going to go bald. My forehead is already big enough for a landing strip for planes. So I'm not going to do that. See you tonight. Perfect. All right. Thanks, guys. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.